June 6, 11:58 a.m. Okay, so let's get into mistakes of the FBI here. And this goes back more than 30 years. I've been in gang stalking 30 years as of this year, April 13th. Literally 30 years. A low estimate is that $60 million has been spent on me. Look at the amount of time and energy, the investment they've made here. And everybody thinks this is, they're being sold. It's all right. Well, technically it's kind of illegal, just kind of. But it's for good intentions. We're getting the bad guys with it. And, oh no, the reality is it's all illegal, and it's all criminal intentions, criminal motives, and it's all about corruption and protecting a corrupt system. This is what they don't want people finding out about. 99.9% of targets in stalking are balls to the walls, clueless in regards to what they are a part of. Been in this 30 years. $60 million is actually a low estimate. It's much more likely that it is over $100 million at this point. Wrap your heads around it. Now, they made a lot of mistakes before they put me in the gang stalking, and then even after they put me in the gang stalking. I'm going to point out points here in particular, how I figured things out and why, and the mistakes of agents and agencies here. The way that they fucked up so much, so hard, and so heavily is that I was already paying attention to the infrastructure. I was already paying attention to informants and cops and FBI. I was already good at spotting their people. I was known for being paranoid. All my friends didn't believe me. The ones that were closer to me, the ones, we all had an illegal lifestyle. I was mellow compared to a lot of the people that I had dealings with. They were much more into the whole drug thing. Quite a few of them got busted for growing marijuana plants. You understand? That's not small shit. Growing and distributing. They're looking at major time, and because the FBI busted them is the other end of it. And these are people they would have lying behind the scenes for them if that's what they're doing. If it's not Keith and Kelly, who they themselves had an experience with this technology, it's in my book that's coming out here. Kate and Ansel, then it's people who you can already know are paid off and or have been threatened for lying for the FBI. If it is not one of those four people, then you can know that it is people lying for the FBI. And at times they've pointed out some of the lies they've come up with certain people. And in regards to every single lie they tell and the people they speak with, they're just selling extreme lies. In other words, the lies are so extreme. And it's the FBI. People go, well, that's so fucking hard to believe, but it must be they're telling the truth. Now, this is a agency tactic. And this was Horvat's favorite. It's extreme lying. You go, I can't believe they'd be lying to my face because it's so blatantly obvious for the lie that it is. It must be they're telling the truth. It's actually, in one way, it's, from my end of shit, it's just balls to the wall stupid. It's an extreme lie. You get it? Furthermore, once they go there, they've put themselves in a position where they can be exposed in regards for the lies they've sold. The reason why they go there, it's all extreme lying. People believe the appearances and what they're hearing. Doesn't change reality. And this is what I'm getting to. They lied to people all throughout the years here differently based on what certain people were a witness to. You understand? They quite literally have to lie and manipulate differently for different people. So what happens when it all gets into a courtroom or a congressional hearing? Everybody finds out the truth for the first time, and everybody finds out that they were lied to differently. You get it? And so I will be doing a video for people from alternative media. I'm going to take video clips from videos I did in Phoenix. I'm going to take where I was affected and just make one big video of it. You can see it looks totally normal, yet it's me being affected. Furthermore, you see me figuring out the lies they've sold. The only hope they have is affecting me when I do that video. They can forget it. I've been living and breathing this shit for more than 30 years. Yeah, I can do it with my eyes closed. Furthermore, I made mental notes about all of this when they were doing it in real time and back during that time period. You get it? I'll give you a perfect example. I'm going to bring this up now before they wipe my memory or block it. 2015, I think it was. 15 or 16. I think it was 2015. This woman, Carrie, she'd already been tricked. I knew she had been tricked. I'd spoken to her about doing an interview, and it was like the whole thing was fake. And I was like, okay, well, guaranteed LJ, the agent in charge when I was living in Berlin-Bach, out by Mother Mira's, 3 kilometers away from her, actually. You can look her up at Wikipedia. I realized, well, there's no way he's just going to let me be myself in interviews. He's going to hijack me. This is actually what these agents threaten to do with me in interviews, if I get interviews here. And I told him, well, you know how that goes. Once you start fucking with me in interviews, I'm just going to release everything. At that point, I will see you're just totally stupid, and this is just, we're going to get it all out in interviews. I will go through every single piece of dirt I have on agencies. Nobody's fucking with me if I get an interview here. And I will actually do it. Oh, it'll be the most popular interview ever for whoever interviews me. I'll just be spilling the dirt. Are you kidding? Everybody on the planet is going to be looking at that interview. So we'll have 1 million people investigating murders committed by the FBI, because that's how heavily they fucked up. We'll have millions upon millions of people scouring the internet and finding out the FBI is balls to the walls guilty. You got that one? So... but the point is, so this woman, I knew she was already tricked, because when the chips were down, at first she was going to help me. I told her I'm in the middle of a cover-up. I had a cassette that proved unauthorized murder. The agents I'm dealing with have stolen it. This is all about relations with Germany. And at first, it looked like she was taking things seriously, and I was like, well, these agents are going to get to her, and then she's going to turn me down. That's what she did. Then later I approached her about an interview. It was much later. And she said yes. And I'm like, okay, well, she's already tricked. She's saying yes. This is it. This is going to be a setup by agents and agencies. Sure as shit, she interviews me, and LJ is sitting on me. They got all these feelings pushed in. I call it the Charlie Brown ray. It's where you're not yourself, you're not assertive, you're not yourself at all. Bottom line, you just let anybody walk all over you. And for me, though, this is a perfect example. So she asked me, well, how do you know what they're saying behind the scenes? LJ affected me, so I literally could not explain it to her. Yes, they can fuck with your intelligence totally and period. It's a mix of technology, feelings, and they shove it in, and it's like you become retarded as shit. You operate from a much, you're still the same on the inside, but your ability to go from your brain to your mouth, you can't forget it. It's like being a retarded kid. But it's a perfect example of my being affected. And take a look at why. They did not want her, and take a look at me and how I determine this. They did not want her understanding how I can figure out the lies they are selling behind the scenes. This is how they affect me. So when they affect me, I know that is for getting away with selling a lie behind the scenes. They're selling I'm clueless. They didn't want her understanding there is a method to the madness. There is a way in which I can figure out how they've lied. And that's because they're misusing technology and lying in the first place. That is what they were hiding from her. And at the end of it, I was angry at LJ and I was angry at her because she let herself get played. And I thought, well, the woman's just absolute clueless narcissist. And of course, she never released the interview. There was nothing accomplished with the interview anyhow. She was just asking me. She thought she was asking tough questions, and really, LJ was just sitting on me. So I was pissed as shit at her because she's too stupid to understand. She didn't even think of the possibilities before she was doing an interview with me. And I was, and I knew what to expect, and sure as shit, that's what LJ did and got away with. He played her. He wiped his ass with her. But the point is, going all the way back to Horvat, I knew I'm being affected for them getting away with selling lies about a profile I don't have. Hello? So if you want proof I was affected with her, then there you are. And that's somebody from alternative media. It's just bare basic realities. Which is another point. I see this all the time. People from alternative media are not asking, what if it was me dealing with the circumstances? And then figuring it out from there and then comparing it to what the FBI has told them. Next point is, I've been in this 30 years. I understand the psychology involved. It's all about pissing you off, this and that. When you understand it, it doesn't work anymore, which points to them actually misusing technology on me, holding me in, and then lying about it, dumping it on me. This is the one that my ex gets. She was there for that shit. She herself was affected heavily on the last day of stalking. So again, this gets back to where I'm going here. Before I got put in the gang stalking and the mistakes of agents and agencies here. They sold it to my mother as, well, Monica was doing stalking, and then I was reacting heavily on the last day of stalking. It is an extreme lie. No, that is how they lied to her, because they knew that she would never be speaking with Monica. That said, it is extremely risky and stupid to do. So now we're going to take a look at all the way back to before I got put in gang stalking and then once I was in. And we're going to take a look at the FBI here and how they lied to people. Get a good look. This is what they're lying about to everybody. If you understand this shit, you understand the real reason why the FBI will not take me to court and is avoiding exposure at all costs. They fucked up royally. Getting everybody together, the FBI's in a world of shit. Everybody finds out they were lied to. And that's what I'm trying to explain here. They lie like a bunch of goddamn imbeciles. It's all about convincing people in the moment that they're telling the truth without any actual regard to the lies they've sold to this person here and that person there and this person over here. But the problem is they've sold different lies to different people. Based on what they're a witness to in the first place. They're balls to the wall stupid. So let's take a look at points. Yep, they're starting to throw technology on me real heavily. Go fuck yourselves. No, we're going to just do a few mistakes here of the FBI, but take a look. Point number one. About 2 weeks into my relationship with Dawn, we worked together at her uncle's pizza shop. That's how I met her. Along with the pedophile cop, undercover cop. And her father worked as, I think, an informant for law enforcement. And within 2 weeks, we were hanging out. And she was like, yeah, I got busted smoking weed here in this parking lot. It was right there where her uncle's store was, if I remember right. She made a big deal about it. Yeah, I got busted. I realized, like, oh, the error of my ways and shit. She put it up on a pedestal, authority. I realized she had kind of like a religious conversion here. She's putting authority up on a pedestal and, oh, the error of her ways. But then I'm thinking, well, you're still smoking pot and you're doing it with me. So I was already from the very beginning, I'm like, okay, she works for law enforcement. And my feeling was she's studying to be a cop. I could see she made a decision there, and it had to do with the way she is. And at this point in time, I'd already dealt with informants, undercover cops, and FBI agents. That was in 92 with her, and that's when the situation with the pedophile cop happened. His, quote, girlfriend made the news for being beaten and raped. They couldn't use her name because she was only 14. That's when I found out she's 14. They're bumping out points. But that was in 92, and at that point, I'd already had all sorts of shit going on in my life, and I was very familiar. I was learning to separate informants, cops, and agents. That's where I was at. And this is in my early 20s. So my point is, I realized very quickly, based on how she's acting, my best bet was she's studying to be a cop. I had that in my mind, and I was snooping around, and it was very easy to figure out that was the case. Like, she's out of Raleigh, and she's studying to be a cop. And then I just found more stuff, and I realized that's exactly it. She made all sorts of stupid mistakes. She was clueless, I knew. So she had her guard down, and she thought she's giving out tells and stuff without me picking up on a goddamn thing. You get it? So that's 2 weeks in with her. Then I'm hanging out with all these people that do drugs. They're growing and distributing, some of them. And a lot of these people I'm partying with, college kids, the, quote, hippie crowd and shit. You know, they're excelling in their grades, but they're part of the hippie thing, and they do all that shit. You get it? And so then I told a bunch of people, and I told some first in particular, and some I did not tell. And there are reasons why, mostly the key reason being that I thought other people worked for law enforcement. You get it? So at the beginning, I told these people that were growing, if you ever see me with this girl, she's studying to be a cop, and just act like you don't know me, and I'll act like I don't know you. Or if you see me and I ignore you, I act like I don't know you, it's because I'm with her. That is why. And that's right from the very beginning. Now, then we had the situation with the pedophile cop. And so before I told my ex here, yeah, that guy's the guy we're working with here. That is his girlfriend in the front page news. And he went to the mountains to fuck her girlfriend. No doubt also 14. Took her to the mountains to get her drunk and to fuck her. That's an exact quote. And, you know, here the legal age is 16. What was I supposed to think? I knew he was an undercover cop. You get it? So he's just flaunting the fact that he's fucking, you know, already fucking kids, even if they're 16. But as it turns out, they're 14. You got that one? And I was clueless. What was I supposed to think? Oh my God. Just, oh my God. Just the shit I could say here. If you knew just what a shitbag this guy was and is. So then I tell Dawn, but I thought it through, and I was like, well, once I tell her, she's going to want her merit badge for spilling the beans on me. Real difficult to figure out her psychology. And I knew she'd do that, and I was like, who polices the police? In these circumstances, I'm going to end up with the FBI up my ass. And I'd already had them up my ass the last couple of years before. This was my going to the store and working and everything. I was just all low-key and everything, and then this shit happens. So I wanted to make sure he got in trouble with the police department, so I explained it to her. I already knew she's working as an undercover cop. Even some of the people I partied with knew. And they were like, oh, you're crazy, you're so paranoid, you got a reputation for being paranoid, everybody's an informant, everybody's an undercover cop. Now you're saying, well, you're dating a cop. And I was like, yeah, but she, maybe she turns out to be, the one here, you get it? I didn't let her being a cop get in the way of shit. It's not like I plan on doing drugs the rest of my life either, That's just a temporary stage in my life, and I knew it all the way back then. The reality is I had a reputation for just withdrawing from the whole party scene and not smoking, not drinking, no nothing. Just a totally healthy lifestyle. It was always a mystery for the FBI and everybody else. Hello, that has to do with my real profile. And typically, that's when I made one of my enlightenment jumps also. So my point is, I was expecting the FBI to come into my life. Take a look at how they sell I'm a clown with them. No, they're just lying through their teeth about what they're doing with technology. They're lying about everything. As much as they can, they are lying. This is more than 30 fucking years ago. Where do you think I'm at here? It's just like I said, I am the closest thing to interviewing a goddamn agent. This is not a hobby or fun on my end. I have to do this for self-defense. So sure enough, I figured, well, at least minimum, I figured I've got about 1 month before they show up in my life. But once I told her, I had my eyes open. And sure enough, I start to pick up on I'm under surveillance. And they have their people all over the place. And they'll have them do small things to see if you catch on. Well, I was catching on, and they thought I was out to lunch. So then they do more and more, and they get more and more obvious and more sloppy. And the reality is, I was just noting everything. So eventually, this is after observing them for a period of months, I finally told people around me, partying and stuff, and I said, I think I'm being investigated by the FBI. I did not tell them because of the pedophile cop. You got it? And so I've got witnesses to this. The next point is you have to understand these are the same people. I told them, well, Dawn here is studying to be a cop. Everybody I partied with knew about this. Eventually, I told everybody. And I told them the same thing. And the reality is, depending on the person I would tell, I'm noting if this is going back to the FBI, because they find out something new, and then they have somebody else somewhere else bring up something about something I've brought up with another person, but they're trying to be subtle to find out more information. So then I know that person is in the FBI's pocket. And I was surprised. There were a lot of people who I had no idea actually worked for law enforcement. So then they're exposing their people to me. This is the brilliance of the FBI here. You can forget about Ricky Tanning. This is way beyond that. They're totally in the toilet here. So my point is, these people know I'm dating an undercover cop. She's studying to be a cop. That's what I told them, because she was. And then I'm being investigated by the FBI. And I did that in a certain way also. Told certain people first. And when they lied to other people later, like at this one restaurant I worked at, once I got put in the gang stalking, I was working there when I got put in. They lied to everybody about all of this shit. none of these key points and information existed for those people. You get it? So I broke up with Dawn in 92 or early 93. And we had broken up, and then one day, it was summer, I believe, she just randomly swung by my apartment. Now, she lives, at least 30 minutes away out in Raleigh. She never did that kind of thing, and the whole thing was unusual. And this was the FBI checking to see if I had caught on to Dawn here and their plans, and if I had picked up on anything. And Dawn came by. Now, the reason why I never forgot this is because it was so unusual in the first place. We had broken up. She's swinging by my apartment, and she showed me, literally, that she had learned how, she had practiced being able to fake crying. And I already knew she's a manipulator. She's studying to be a cop. And that's why we broke up. Oh, this is a key point. I was telling some of the people who I knew, and these are not deep friends. Most of these are not deep friends. These are people I partied with and shit. You get it? I might have told some of my real friends, like Keith and Kelly, or it would be Keith and Kelly, I think, but because they were around. Ansel and Kate, I don't know where they were at that time. But the point is, I had told some of these people, while I'm breaking up with Dawn, she's going to be a corrupt cop. You get it? That's a direct quote. I said she's not going to work out, and she's going to turn out to be a corrupt cop. That's exactly what I said. And that is what she did. Now, that is one more fact and point which they hid from everybody. But my point is, in 93, she comes by and she's telling me, she's showing me, I've learned how to fake crying. And I thought, well, maybe this is for her training to be a cop. You get it? But take a look at where this goes. And then she was there for like a half hour. The whole thing was weird. The FBI had her come by and told her to do all of that. And I knew at that point she's working for the FBI. So I also looked at that. And I'm like, why would the FBI have her come by and do that? And it was a mystery. I did not put two and two together. I didn't realize what a fucking piece of shit she is. As I'm getting to, and as you will see, they hid all of this shit from everybody they lied to. Furthermore, there are witnesses to things in real time which contradicts the entire false narrative the FBI has sold. You get it? This is actually why they can't go into a courtroom. Furthermore, this is just tip of the iceberg. Guaranteed I can bring the FBI down as an organization, both with politicians and the public here. I can prove fuckloads because they were so incompetent and stupid, and because I'm so intelligent in the first place, and they had no idea of where I was and where I operate from. You got it? They're fucked. It's finished. This is why I'm saying they will go to any convincing extremes just so you don't find out and don't interview me in the first place. It's not just about interviews. It's about people, period, that they have working for them. Now, that's in 93 she did this, and I'm like, what the fuck was that shit? But I never forgot it because it's so weird. You get it? And I already knew she's a manipulator. It's one of the reasons why she and I would never work out. I'm about growing and changing for the better, and you and your mate help each other grow and change. You just keep evolving together, individually and together, collectively. That's my idea of a relationship. Man, are you kidding? Her idea of a relationship didn't begin to be that. So this is in 93. This is before the shooting outside my window and the second cover-up. My point is, this points to the fact that she was already paid off by the FBI And clearly, for me, it's an indicator she was already behind the scenes lying. As I found out much later, the FBI lied to my parents. It took me 2 seconds to figure out, well, I'm sure they had Dawn go over there with them, and then Dawn just did her crying routine in front of my parents. That's how they got tricked. The reason why is one more thing which I remember here. As Dawn came out here, we went shopping out at University Mall, which is just a mile away from my parents here. It used to be. It's not University Mall anymore. And we saw my mother, but it was late at night. The whole thing was unusual, and I'm like, well, let's see. I know I'm under surveillance by the FBI, and they do these profiling events. So that's one more thing that stood out in my mind. And this is how I've connected the dots here. This connecting the dots, there's nothing wrong with my connecting the dots here. The FBI should be so lucky. The point is, they lied. They hid all of this shit from everybody they lied to at the restaurant. People at the restaurant were doing sexual harassment for a rape I never committed. They got away with it by hiding all of this key information, because all of this key information points to the fact that Dawn and the FBI are guilty as shit. Furthermore, they did it for this pedophile cop. And then once the second cover-up happened, because of that as well. But I know for a fact Dawn had already taken a payoff and was already lying behind the scenes. You get it? The next point is, I didn't tell anybody it's about the pedophile cop. I did not want the FBI understanding I knew what they were up my ass for. They're balls to the walls incompetent. And this is what happens when you got a bunch of fuck-ups with an agent badge dealing with somebody that's more intelligent than they are. They're fucked. Now, another key point, and yeah, you see me smiling and almost laughing here for good reason. Take a look at this from the FBI's viewpoint here. Those are just a few points. I'm not even finished, and this is just with Dawn and the FBI here. So then in 1994, April 13th, I get put into gang stalking. I'm working down here at a restaurant about 1 mile away. And, oh my God, I've got nothing but miles of points here. I get put in, and one of the things I'm dealing with is sexual harassment at the store. Just all sorts of crazy shit. And of course, it's all invisible traumas. Everybody else thinks you deserve it, and it's funny. But and what I found out years upon years later in Germany, is they were all told I'm a rapist behind the scenes, and that's why they were doing all of this in the first place. You take a look at everything that was omitted along the way here for them to believe it. You get it? So my point is, Dawn was lying behind the scenes. Everybody was buying Dawn and her fake tears, because she got paid off $100,000. That's why she was doing it, and because she was that type of person in the first place. Strangely enough, that is why a relationship would not work out between me and her. Strangely enough, I was telling a bunch of my friends, yeah, I'm going to break up with her, and she's going to turn out to be a corrupt cop. That was a given. And what did I have problems with my entire life? Corrupt cops. Got that one? But getting to 94 and 95, somewhere in there, I was still living at the above the restaurant downtown, and I was over at Carmel Mall, and I saw Dawn's mother and her uncle, who I used to work for. I used to work for her uncle, and her mother had come down from Detroit, I guess. I think she used to live in Detroit. I think she finally moved down here or something. But the point is, she was with Dawn's mother and uncle were together, walking through Carmel Mall, and they looked at me. I was already in gang stalking. I was at a distance. But they clearly recognized me, and they shot me a disgusted look, an angry, disgusted look. Here I am in gang stalking, and I'm like, what the fuck is their goddamn problem? What does that look about? See, I had no idea that Dawn and the FBI were saying I raped her. I was clueless. But again, it stood out as so unusual, I never forgot it. So then take a look at the FBI here and how they've been lying. They're just selling, well, he's intelligent and he's intelligently making shit up. No, they fucked up and I'm intelligent and they're caught because of it. They reversed it with everybody. You got to be balls the walls incompetent to be believing the FBI here. Makes everybody I've dealt with an absolute extreme fuck up. That's exactly the truth of things here. So my point is, even her own mother and uncle did not know the truth. She signed an NDA, took a great big fat cash payment, and lied behind the scenes for the FBI and labeled me a rapist for money. But my point is, if this goes into a courtroom, even her own motherfucking mother and uncle are going to find out that they were lied to and that she is balls to walls a piece of shit. Got that one? This is the FBI's concerns here. And they hit all of this. These are just some of the points where they just stand out in neon red. Who the hell rapes a cop when they know they're under investigation by the FBI? That's one more thing that came up. In 1993, I told people I worked with and partied with, I think I'm under investigation. This guy who I knew to be an FBI agent, and everybody knew that I thought this about him. He gave me a TV set, and I said, I bet there's microphones in here and cameras. I broke it open in front of their faces. This is before I got put into gang stalking. They lied and hid all of this from everybody else. You get it? They remove the real context of things so that you go along with what they're selling. It's still goddamn lying and manipulating. So then take a look at it from my viewpoint. I find out years upon years later, everybody at this restaurant, when the gang stalking started, April 13th, 1994, the year of OJ, that's how I know what year it started. And, this is how my memory works. The thing is, they lied to everybody at that store. They were doing sexual harassment, all sorts of hardcore heavy shit. And they were just going along with it because they had no idea of the truth. If we go into a courtroom, they find out about all of this for the first time. They all find out they were lied to and manipulated heavily and extremely. Furthermore, they themselves are in up to their ears with illegal shit here. You got it? Not interested in suing them, but can you imagine how angry people are going to be here? Look at it from the FBI's viewpoint. My point is, when this all began, I thought, well, all the sexual harassment and shit, well, that's just standard operational procedure for gang stalking. I had no idea. And man, they were doing all sorts of heavy shit, just beyond your wildest imagination, just fuckloads of crazy shit and heavy shit. And the agent in charge here who put me into the gang stalking, he was trying to coerce me with the gang stalking and get me to make a false confession. Horvat out in Germany thought he was brilliant. They never got a false confession because I'm not guilty. So, as hard as it was, I would not go there because there was no truth to it. My point is, take a look at everything they hid while they got people's hands dirty with sexual harassment and all sorts of shit. And they did it by hiding shit like this. This all falls down in a courtroom. Next point is, everybody knows my ex Dawn here, and guaranteed her entire life spells out the track record of her and the type of person she is. Strangely enough, if you speak with people who are friends with me in my life, they'll tell you I'm a good person and always was. Real simple. The reality is she was a corrupt cop, and she had to go to therapy for post-traumatic flashbacks in the bedroom. Everything I've got her recorded on is her speaking about real life. Agents and agencies hid it from alternative media by saying she was doing gang stalking. Man, that is just a lie, and then people are believing the lie. Horvat was testing to see if in real life I would wake up to the fact that Dawn had deliberately lied for the FBI. She was looking. Well, if I go free from stalking and one day I run into Dawn, will I become a threat? And sure enough, on the phone, I figured it out. I figured out she's still the same person. And then I woke up to, well, that's how she was back then, and then everything clicked into place. The reality is she had to get therapy for post-traumatic flashbacks in the bedroom because her stepbrother used to tie her up and rape her. I wonder if her uncle and mother know about that one. So this is what the FBI is worried about. They lied to everybody and used everybody because of a pedophile cop and a racist at 911. They totally dragged my name through the dirt for pieces of shit. And they use pieces of shit for doing it. But how do you think this works out in a congressional hearing or a courtroom? Hello? FBI and Dawn are going right down the toilet. But for me, that finally explained to me why my parents just believed the FBI the entire time and way here. It's because they had Dawn behind the scenes approach my parents here with them, and they just passed it off as real and true. That said, my parents still should have spoken with me and still should have asked questions. They were selling to my parents I was clueless about the FBI investigating. Actually, very quickly on, I was telling their people I know I'm under investigation. And then I was noting the differences in the FBI's approach and style with me. They're like, okay, well, he sees us in regards to certain things here, we're going to be different kind of invisible. So then they did more and different monkey dance, and I noted that. They're fucked. There is not a more airtight court case against the FBI than my own here, actually. That is why they're going to any and all extremes to keep people from interviewing me. Think about it. If, okay, I get interviews and everything, how do you think it's going to be? I'll tell you exactly how it's going to be. It's going to be crickets chirping from everybody accused. The reality is the FBI is going to be dealing with people from my past here. That's reality. Everybody got lied to, and they're going to be finding out the truth for the first time. Wrap your head around that one. So I have nothing to worry about, and the FBI and Dawn here and everybody else have got shitloads to worry about. You got it? One of the key points here in regards to the FBI, I'm a good person. They've quite literally had to lie and invent all sorts of crazy shit because I am a good person, and they literally have nothing against me. They have a whole bunch of peanuts after $60 million spent at the least, and all this time and energy for somebody who's not a criminal in the first place. They quite literally use the stalking for trying to get me to take credit for a crime I never committed. The truth remains the same. You get it? So it's the only thing I can think of that they're doing. They're just lying. Oh, I would love for Dawn to try and take me into court. Boy, she is finished. The reality is, once I get interviews, it's going to be crickets chirping. Minus my, if I get interviews, then the FBI and agents and agencies here are much less likely to be dealing with a committee or congressional hearing. But there's no doubt I can do either one here. I'm the most knowledgeable target in stalking in regards to all of this. They're in the toilet. Furthermore, the FBI is caught all over the place. You get it? Nobody's doing jack shit with me. You only believe there will be trouble from other people here if you're believing the lies of the FBI in the first place. Those lies are about keeping you and everybody else from finding out the truth of how guilty they are in the first place. Nobody's got anything to worry about. It's the same thing with German agents here in regards to this fake profile they believe. They believe the entire time delusional and a threat to agencies. The reality is they just read it into everything. It's never been about finding out me, my psychology, and where I'm coming from. It's always been about reading those points into everything and proving it to themselves. They look at the words I use and then make it fit where they think I'm coming from instead of where I'm actually coming from. Hello? But it's the same thing. The way they got there is Horvat took one-time events from my life, cherry-picked my life, and then made it fit the fake profile. Boy, you got to be balls to walls incompetent for that. Those one-time experiences, most of them were growth experiences and life lessons. Boy, world of difference between me and Beata here, and me and Jurgen here, and me and Horvat here. You think intelligence blinks on and off. I find that one funny. No, still intelligent. But then you go smoking your own technology effects because it reaffirms viewpoints you have, which you never double-checked. You're balls to walls incompetent. But it's the same thing here. It's like a nasty divorce. They cherry-pick things and then build a false psychology out of it. They'll take certain things and make it fit the false psychology they are selling. You get it? That's exactly what they do. Yet if you speak with me, you'll find out that me and what I got out of things is very different than what they're selling. You got that one? Only one of us is telling the truth, and nobody can be that delusional about themselves, can they? Imagine that one. So once again, when there are open lines of communication, the FBI and agents and agencies go down. Nobody is going to be suing anybody who does interviews with me because they're all balls to the walls guilty. Dawn herself is going down the toilet. Dawn herself will have to explain to her uncle and her mother all these details which were hidden from them. Imagine that one. How stupid do you think her own mother is, and how stupid do you think her uncle is? You got it? Just rewards for everybody. Finally, the law of cause and effect, karma, catching up with everybody here. And do you know how it got here? By clowns from agencies staying fixated on what they want instead of getting this mess ended. And all they had to do, that's where there's no excuse for German agents. They could have thought on their own and they'd be awake by now. Instead, they're too busy reading delusional into everything. They're fuck-ups. They're amateurs. They are agents on paper and they go, well, that just means I'm right. Actually, job performance has been amateur. I've pointed it out in detail. And you continue to go on with your mistakes because you are busy pretending to be an agent and psychoanalyzing your own mistakes into they're not mistakes. Man, that proves the point. So that's it for this video. They are attacking me heavily right now, my stomach and shit, and my consciousness. So that's it. June 6, 9:42 a.m. I want to give people an example of what I deal with. I'm, quote, just waking up. This shit here, a lot of this, it's all done with technology. It's been done with technology. Miles upon miles I could go into in regards to it. In fact, different agents have done different things. Horvat started doing this with both of my eyes. And this started many upon many years ago. This goes all the way back to like 15 years ago or some shit. The thing is, what they're doing is they're giving me advanced stuff with this technology, shit that I shouldn't have for years down the road. You go, well, you're up there in your years. That's not the point. The point is, this was done with technology and this. Where I would be left to my own devices on the aging front is very different. Horvat came up with this because I was like, well, it points to my real profile. I age slower and it has to do with my real profile. So they began attacking me and doing shit, and it's been all about prematurely aging me. So my point is, imagine me without their technology shit, 55, without all of that, and you'd be, well, this guy understands something. You get it? And that is why Horvat began doing it. Same reason she started attacking our daughter's health all the time. That was actually about hiding my real profile from German agents and agencies. So now let me give you an idea of what I deal with. I deal with them in my head when I'm waking up. don't feel normal at all. I went to bed early last night because of them in the first place, affecting me very heavily. Couldn't even send emails off with video links and, my book file. And so I go to bed early, and I'm like, okay, well, that works out fine for me. I'll get up early. Finally, my sleep schedule will be where it should be. Usually, I'm the kind of person that likes to go to bed earlier and get up earlier. If I can, my preference is to get up with the sun. But that's not how shit's been going here. They've had me going to bed at 6 in the morning and stuff, all done with technology. So I wake up, and my stomach is full of acid. And I've got really strong stomach acid. Now, the thing is, they started doing it last night. And this began happening every single hour. Now, the point is, this is done with technology. It's one of their tactics for attacking targets. It's actually one of the standard operational procedure things. And I know this because I've heard a lot of other people speak about it who are dealing with this. So they are making my stomach all screwed up about every 15 minutes to every half hour the entire night. I finally got up. I even took calcium, liquid soft gels, so should have worked instantly. 1,200 milligrams. And did nothing. And just, you can only take so much calcium. So we'll see. It's been hours now. I'll take some more. But my point is they will keep doing this. It doesn't matter if you take the calcium. They ignore real life for their technology effects. In other words, normally in real life, you take 1,200 milligrams of calcium. Most people, their stomach acid is going to go away. Not with technology. What they do is they rub it in your face that it is them. So they've kept me awake the whole night, literally waking up every 15 minutes to every half hour the entire night. So point number one is they'll lie about how much they did it because they don't want you understanding how heavy and extreme they are. If they tell the truth and they're like, well, yeah, that's pretty accurate, then it's because they're trying to buy your trust. The reality is this shit is going on all of the time. Not this with my stomach necessarily, but heavy and extreme stuff nonstop. So my point is they are not telling people the truth about a goddamn thing. It's a miracle if they speak the truth at all at times. So then I finally get up, I take the calcium, go back to sleep, and they're still doing it. They're still doing it now. You get it? Then they're making me tired. And actually, I woke up angry. I had shit to mail last night, should have had a good night's sleep. You've totally destroyed it. Now, the next point is, they have been destroying my sleep every single night in the first place. Now, if you go, well, I wonder how many days they've been doing it, or how many weeks they've been doing this with them, you got to go further up. It's not months, it's years. I do not get normal sleep, and this has been going on for 12 fucking years. You understand? They can block your, they go into your dream state with you, they alter your consciousness, so then you're not even experiencing dreams as yourself. And, yeah, you remember this shit. It's the same thing as being affected in real life here. You get affected, you note it. It's the same thing in the dream state, you get it? But then they also block certain stages of sleep. So the quality of your sleep is non-existent. This is what I've been dealing with. The FBI here, out at my parents', have on occasion let me have normal sleep. Quite literally affected me with it so that I would have to sleep instead of getting stuff done. But they affected me with, quote, normal sleep. Made me extremely tired, pass out, sleep for like 4 hours, But it was, quote, normal sleep. You get it? It's one of the reasons why they do it. They do it to encourage me to go along. But that's it. In terms of me getting normal sleep, it's literally, you can count it on your hands. You get it? Next point, I should be angry. I woke up angry. Or hit me up with death threats and shit. And this shouldn't be going on at all. They're getting away with this by lying. They're being backstabbing and extremely underhanded here. They are claiming one thing while doing another and then dumping it on me. You got that one? So they're blocking my anger towards them here, and then also making me feel very tired. Actually, I'm so pissed off. You can take being tired and just throw it right in the goddamn garbage. Now, today I'm getting shit done. But normally what they do is they block the effects of the coffee. What they do is they freeze my waking up. And they leave it on me. Sometimes they just leave it on me the entire fucking day. Doesn't matter if I take coffee, no nothing. If I take a herbal supplement, energy supplement, then they let me feel normal. But I don't actually feel the herbal supplement. I don't feel tired. I don't feel the herbal supplement. No, what they do is they just stop affecting my energy levels and I feel the way I should. This is how they fuck with everything. Last but not least, as I told the FBI this morning, which they already know, this is not a new communication. No, one way or another, I and the FBI, we're all going public here. The more they fuck with me, then the more it just gets worse for them here. If nobody interviews me, as I told them, you got option A. Option A is interviews. If not, you got option B. That's a congressional hearing, technology committee, whatever it is that gets started here, but you're going to have one of those instead. So, I understand the infrastructure of agents and agencies, this technology, and the program of stalking. I get it better than anybody. Nobody from alternative media gets this shit as well as I do, including Dr. Hall. Dr. Hall understands it from his own side of things. It's not where I'm at. There's no satellites involved. I watched agents do unauthorized murder. You get it? Can they do it with satellites? I'm not saying they can't. I have no idea. I've not looked at his books or the information. I happen to be a big fan of Dr. John Hall's. He's the only one out there that does get this shit. I'm not saying he does not understand this. I'm saying that I understand a very different side of it. That is what I am communicating. So, you want documents and stuff and quotes, and all the stuff that is out there which has been looked at and researched by him, then you should go to him. If you want the nuts and bolts and how it is here with agents and agencies and what it is they do, the infrastructure and what they do with this technology and what they do within this program, then I am your guy. I understand the infrastructure here, and I understand it very well. So getting back to the point, they're like, well, we've got everybody shut down. Look, you can't even send off emails because they've been sitting on me forever now. And it has nothing to do with me. It's actually them with technology. You think it would be simple and easy. Oh, you fucking dream. Not with this technology. It's real simple. They take a feeling of... what they do is they quite literally attack your desire and willpower to get shit done. Yours gets squashed or eliminated, and they push in their technology, desire, and willpower for fucking around with anything but what it is you want done. You got it? It becomes impossible. I was looking at this in the last couple of weeks. I was like, 2013, Horvat was affecting me, so I couldn't write down journal entries. I managed to squeeze one out, but man, it felt like, it was impossible. It was like one of the most impossible things in the world to write down a paragraph. So, yeah, you have no idea. If it just has to do with them shoving in feelings and thoughts, not yours. Point is, you recognize it because it's so different than what it is you want to get done here. You get it? So it's surreal. You know this shit. And then you keep thinking, well, I'll get to those emails. I'll get to those emails. And you get hijacked all over again. Yesterday, death threats, and then them pushing out the hernia all day yesterday. That's when I went out. And, you know, they do all sorts of shit. All sorts of things just to keep you distracted and non-focused. So hit you up with ideas. Now, they'll literally wipe your memory and then hit you up with the idea to do something. And just to be extra sure that you do it, it'll be something you thought about doing before, which they blocked and wiped your memory in regards to. So then you're like, oh my God, I never did this. I wanted to get this done. Clearly they blocked it. Now I've got a chance to do it. So then you end up doing something else. Then eventually, you know, hours down the road, you're like, holy shit, I never sent the emails off. They you know, distracted me, wiped my memory, and had me doing something else. This shit goes on the entire time. For them, it's just a dumb, cheap game. So, hang on. They'll be selling it's harmless. Shouldn't be going on at all. Especially these circumstances that I deal with in particular. For everybody else, there's a way into stalking and a way out. In my case, we're holding in, we're torturing, and we're killing, and then I've got to listen to dumb commentary from German agents in my head, who still do not have one goddamn thing about me correct, because they're reading delusional into shit. Delusional and threat to agencies. So that's where that's these fucks with this technology. They've already done it once, and I didn't say anything in the video. That's it's a blocker. They just suppress you and keep you from pointing it out. I noted it, but I didn't bring it up. That's their special effects. No, where I am at, I'm not stressed out at all. They're like, well, you're not going to get interviews. And I'm like, well, congratulations. We are officially going into the papers then. The FBI and I and these circumstances are becoming world news. That's where I and the FBI are once I'm, quote, shut down here with interviews. This is all coming out. See, what they are, and this is, they're making my voice, quote, crack after I just drank something. Go fuck yourselves. And you see, what they're doing is they're selling gang stalking. Under these circumstances, gang stalking does not exist. They got everybody believing gang stalking is somehow, it makes sense to everybody. Shouldn't exist in the first place. Balls to the walls illegal. My circumstances here is the real reason why. It's all being used illegally. It is all illegal. It is all for bad intentions. So then they're lying about everything they've done and are getting away with in my life. So they are lying about the gang stalking, and they're not even following the rules of their illegal program here. That's a goddamn lie and illusion. Then they're selling, well, we're FBI. Also a lie and illusion, an absolute lie. They're criminals. Yet everybody is going along with them. And the point is, they are focused on that with everybody else. As I said to them, hey, you go on doing your monkey dance here and tricking people. I'm focused on reality. So, that's them making me burp. Can you believe it? Next move, it's them, temper tantrums. Here they come with the stomach acid. The point is, while they're focused on all the shit they have to sell to people, I'm focused on reality. So we're going to have a congressional hearing here, politicians, and or this technology committee. So that's what they are looking at. And they're like, well, we're just going to kill you instantly. Well, good for you. You're going to stand out like crazy here. But that is what they're waiting for. Everybody from the alternative media to turn me down on behalf of the FBI, because it makes sense for everybody. And instead of actually finding out what it is they've done and gotten away with here. So, the entire point of the interviews is they know and I know they're finished. That's one more. With interviews, they cannot control what the other person is going to be asking me. What they are worried about is dialogue. You'll bring something up that they have missed, and which I have missed, and it'll be a damning point against the FBI. It won't be a damning point against me, because I'm the only one that's not lying about any of this. You get it? That's why I'm never worried about a damn thing they bring up or accuse me of. In the end, that is just a matter of what people believe without finding out the truth. It doesn't change reality. You get it? So, they're in a world of shit here. I don't see this lasting longer than a month. I'm going to be, I'll be doing what it takes, but this will be getting to politicians, committees, congressional hearings, if I don't get interviews. So, my point is, really, it's the FBI that decides what it is, how fucked they are here. You get it? This is where I've been the entire stepping way. Never a threat to agents and agencies. Surprise for my girlfriend as well, by the way. And they held me in 22 years extra because they read that into my psychology. Absolutely amazing. It also tells me that they don't get one damn thing about how I am as a person, and these are the 2 German agents I knew. They just seem to think I'm just a feeling person. No, I'm conscious and intelligent. I live by the whole chapter I wrote, the path of consciousness versus the path of experience. And they go labeling me the way they are. They've been sloppy as shit. So these are a couple of people who are stuck in their life and they're never going to change. They're broken and they will always be that way. They are sold I am like them. The reality is I'm totally different. I'm always growing, changing, evolving for the better. It's part of my profile. And there's nothing but miles of profiling. You know, the whole thing's a lie, and it's obvious for the lie it is once I get interviews. So this is going public one way or another now. I'll be sending off email with video links to this one newspaper. We're just going to let people fuck up all along the way here for the FBI. And that's where I'm at here with a lot of people who have fucked up. If you want to know where it's at, when you fuck up on the FBI's behalf, your hands are now covered in torture and murder. That's a statement of fact and reality. And I take a look at people who have fucked up on behalf of the FBI. All that's coming to an end here. Once I get to in front of a committee or it's congressional hearing, what have you, I'm getting in touch with somebody, but this is going public. And everybody is going to be walking the trail of shame here when the truth does come out. Y'all got that one? So I will be passing, quote, final judgment here in regards to a few people from my life that have fucked up. And once I move on here, I got to see how shit turns out. But quite frankly, I'm going to be done with most people when I leave this country. But I'm not leaving till I get this public. And again, it's interviews or committees and hearings. I don't care at this point. And I say that based on the FBI here and what they're doing and what they've gotten away with. As I've told the FBI, you write the ending for yourselves. And that's where they're at. So it's death threats. I wake up to death threats. Yesterday, nonstop death threats. 3 nights before, they hit me up with a feeling of death. It simulated dying. And I had to lay down for hours. And they can do it another way, and that's not, it's not simulated. The other way they do it, they actually start killing you and take you to the brink of death. And they did that one with me when I was living with my family in Germany. So they've got different ways of doing things. But just 3-4 nights ago now, I think it was 3 nights ago, they hit me up with this simulated dying. Again, it's a death threat. They sell it as, well, he thinks it's a death threat, but we didn't actually kill him. No, that's not the way they do their innuendos. That's how they do innuendos, death threats, in front of your motherfucking face. And prove to me you're balls to the wall, stupid, and incompetent. Because they're actually making a fucking death threat in front of your fucking face, and you go believing the child version, the Boy Scout version, the lie, so that you can sleep better at night. Reality is, it was a goddamn death threat, and that's how they always do their shit here. Last point here, because I got real life to do here. The most important point in regards to people from alternative media and why they don't want people communicating with me. If you communicate with me, if we spend any time talking together, you will start to find out that you were lied to. That is the real reason. The FBI did this 30 years ago. They lie to different people differently. It's not about selling the same shit. It's just all about tricking people. So if certain people are witnesses to certain things, you've got to lie to them differently. They are balls to the wall, stupid and incompetent. They did this shit 30 years ago. Problem is they remove all the key information, which actually changes how you think about what it is the FBI is selling. This oath keeper in prison, he brought this up. Yeah, they remove the real context of shit so that people go along with what it is they want. Problem is, everybody finds out the truth later when I'm publicly speaking about shit. And it's the same thing here for people from alternative media. The reality is, I've pointed out all sorts of tricks they've already used on alternative media. I kept my mouth shut. And I'm looking at people and I'm like, well, they ought to be able to get the truth of all sorts of shit here, regardless of what they've been told. In regards to all sorts of stuff, I would have brought things up, but they were also sitting on me with technology. Again, it was impossible to bring up. Key thing is they wipe my memory and throw a whole bunch of shit on me. It made bringing up the ways that they're tricking alternative media, it made it impossible to do. So it's a combination of things, but the key, the most important point, the one I get and the one that the FBI gets, is they don't want anybody speaking with me, because then you find out how you've been lied to and manipulated by the FBI. That is their key worry and concern. First line of defense, don't communicate with them. There's a reason why. They sit in the middle where they control all the information. They lie about your thoughts, your feelings, and strangely enough, if you were to do a survey, would you trust government with this technology? Everybody would say no. Yeah, then take a look at how the circumstances are reversed with me and my life here. Everybody trusts the FBI with this technology. That's because you are programmed. Bare basics. I would have to be crazy out of my mind to be committing conspiracy against government with this technology on me. Punct and period, end of story. That right there is bare basic reality. So therefore, I am not. If I am not, I must be speaking the truth. Take a look at the FBI here. Take a look at what they've sold you. It's all lies and manipulations. That is what I get affected for. Reinforcing the lies they have sold. And the whole reason why is they have everything to hide and I have nothing to hide. So when you get that, you get it is a formula and a recipe for guaranteed destruction of the FBI here once the truth comes out. You got that one? And that is why they will go to any extremes to keep alternative media shut down with me. So that's it. I'm going to have a couple of cups of coffee, see if they stop affecting me so that I feel tired. This is what they do all of the time. Yes, I should feel tired, but they're making me feel even more tired than I should feel. And they do this every single day. They just freeze in your first waking up. They just freeze it in place and leave it on you. So that's why I, quote, drink so much coffee. And my own mother, she doesn't even know this shit. I brought it up with her once, and she was like, I never knew that. I'm sure she's forgotten about it. Them affecting my stomach, make me burp. That's one of their favorites. So that is it. It's real simple. Measure bare basic realities. One of us is lying, and I am saying it is not me. I have to even say that. The whole idea is, this is what I'm trying to communicate. It's absurd. It's preposterous. Everybody is believing absurd lies. It's preposterous beyond belief. So, man, when the truth comes out, man, I'm going to go ballistic on a bunch of people here. Man, the fuck-ups people have been in my life so that they can feel good about their cheap little versions of the FBI here. No, when the truth comes out, I'll be pointing out people's goddamn mistakes and how they fucked up. Man, we're getting this ended. This is all coming out. I'm going to absolutely stomp Don's ass into the ground, the FBI's ass, and everybody who has fucked up heavily on their behalf. Once this goes into, once this goes to politicians here, that's it for everybody. Everybody has been worried about me and concerned about me and where I am in the scheme of things. You always should have been looking at the FBI and the amount of shit you were in by going along with them. Man, everybody fucked up on that one. I'm going to have everybody's heads and asses here. Quote me. That is not a threat to people from alternative media I am approaching here. I'll make myself real clear. But man, there's nothing but miles upon miles of people who have fucked up on behalf of the FBI. Once this goes to politicians, we're going to be calling some of these people in. The entire goddamn point and message here. FBI, agents and agencies, period, are balls to walls, corrupt, criminal, dangerous, and out of control. And everybody has viewed me as, well, you've got something to worry about with me. Man, you fucked up royally. What's this been all about? What the fuck have I been speaking about here? Man, you are seriously delusional if you think the FBI are the good guys here and telling the truth about shit here. And man, everybody is seriously delusional if you think the FBI's got control of their circumstances. They are in a world of shit. You want to know where I'm coming from? Everybody, I'm going to wring your neck, Patsy. You keep fucking with my voice here. You want to know my viewpoint here? Everybody's been believing extreme, absurd lies about me instead of speaking with me and finding out. Whole thing is about what the FBI is guilty of here in the first place. That is where I'm coming from. Torture, murder, none of this is explainable from nobody's got an argument. Everything they sell to people sounds great and believable. Actually, it's a goddamn lie. More than $60 million spent on me, and we have accomplished nothing here. Except hide cover-ups. They are selling I'm a threat to agencies and delusional. Also not true. They have put things here based on their actual motives, which they're not sharing with anybody else. doesn't change reality. They're holding me in and doing all of this. They're literally not following the rules of their own illegal shit here. So this is all coming into the public spotlight. That is where I'm coming from. And everything they are guilty of is coming out in interviews, minus the heavy agency dirt. No, I will be giving that to certain people behind the scenes, so that if I am murdered, feel free to speak about it. You got it? What they have not shared with anybody is that I am good at this shit, and I've caught them in a million different ways because they are actually sloppy and stupid. They respond from, well, we've got power, we can do what we want. As a result, they do simplified thinking. They don't think about shit. They do not think their shit through. It's just, we got power, we can do it, let's do it. So as a result, they end up getting caught, and they end up getting in trouble. The only solution they have is lying, and making the lying sound so believable that you don't want to find out. Once you find out, it's game over, and you realize they lied to you. You understand? This is what the entire thing is about, and how it works here. They are just counting on appearances to be so believable nobody finds out. Once somebody finds out, one interview, it's finished. You got it? And yeah, I'm pissed as shit. So, but that's what I'm going to start looking at. I'm going to start preparing for contacting a politician here, and today I'll start looking into this committee in regards to this technology. That's already old, so I doubt it's still going on, but that's who I'll be getting in touch with. They said, well, we don't know what it's being used for. If you believe the stories, then it's being used for targeting the public. No, we'll just end that one right here. It's no myth, and yes, that is all they are using it for. Alternative media will be the new coming targets here once there's no more internet. Once it's AI censorship, you no longer exist, and then you all will understand the truth of this gang stalking. And no doubt, most of you from alternative media, really big names, you'll be understanding this technology as well, because you yourselves will be dealing with it. Everybody wants to think I'm reading it into things. I want to think it will be that way. If I've got to suffer, you've got to suffer. That's all the fake psychology they're selling out there. No, they understand exactly where targets are here in the scheme of things. It'll be internet censorship. You will be no more, is what you will be. There will be no more alternative media. Strangely enough, you can do the math in your own head and figure that one out. And you will be the top conspiracy theorist. Julian Assange, I don't think, is coming back to defend the people here, do you? So you're going to end up like Julian Assange, and that's the one agents and agencies get that they're not sharing with you while they're being homies. And you all are having a good laugh about Mr. Delusional here. In the meantime, they already know that you are slated for the same shit that I'm dealing with. And the point is, you could figure out there is something wrong with what they are selling about my psychology here simply by looking at the circumstances. It's going to be cyber attacks, then it's going to be a AI censored internet like YouTube, and you are not going to exist from alternative media. You are seriously delusional if you think you are going to be around. So you do the math on that and then take a look at what they're selling about me. Clearly, you can see they're lying about my psychology. They get, just like I do, that you are going to be putting gang stalking yourselves shortly down the road here, at the least. You people just can't handle the harsh realities of life. That's what that shit is. Conspiracy theorists, you don't understand. You're not looking at the actual label, because the actual label of domestic terrorist makes you uncomfortable. So you're not dealing with the reality of what you've been labeled. You're smoking the other label, because that's a soft label, and you sleep better at night. What's that got to do with what's coming up here? You got psychopaths with power doing what they want. They've declared you the enemy. It's got nothing to do with what you fucking want. How delusional is anybody from alternative media? It'll be David Icke standing up, all that is, and this and that, and then boom. They're going to grab his ass and he's going to get locked up. End of story. And then he's going to find out that's how shit really works. He's just been saved. They're going to make a public example out of that guy for all of England. That's my best guess. Take one thing that I've been doing here. What's it been about? It's not been about what I want. It's been about what cheap assholes, psychopaths and narcissists want from agencies. That's what this whole thing's been about. It's just been about corrupt people working for corrupt organizations and what they want. None of it's got to do with what I want. You think I don't know how to succeed? I'd already be rich and successful if it weren't for agents and agencies here. Here, one more. We got a car turning around at the end of our driveway. So, it's like counting sheep. Imagine that one. There's people doing gang stalking. I just pointed out for you, for other people at the beginning of this, it's all surreal. Oh, they're watching and this and that. Me, I'm like, oh, you're a bunch of... Really, I view people like this as just being brainless turds. They would believe anything they're told. They're already doing what they're doing it because they believe what they're told, and it's all based on lies. You know, I ought to start taking down license plate numbers now that I think about it. Because I'm going to get this public. And then we can start looking people up like this, and we can find out what their connection is with the FBI. That's how I look at shit like this. But in the scheme of things, these people are idiots. They're getting their hands dirty for an insane amount of it's just nothing but evil and vile acts for years on end, and for all of the wrong reasons. It's all based on lies. And the lies started because I knew about 2 cover-ups. That is what that person is wasting their time for. A bunch of corrupt, filthy people. And it's a huge list of them who are in trouble at this point. And that is what that person is doing gang stalking for. You got it? Balls to the walls, clueless. So, these are the last people in the world, if they were to find out the truth about all of this, who would apologize to my daughter and my ex in Germany. Absolute turds. They just believe they feel self-important. They're doing it for agents. Typical product of the Milgram experiment. That's how I view these people. So that's it for the video, Point out some of their tricks. I guess I'll bring it up here. I was going to bring it up. It involved when I woke up this morning. If I don't bring things up, they get away with lying about it. In other words, I bring up they're giving me stomach acid with technology. Then maybe they say, okay, yes, we're doing it. It's to cause psychological stress. It doesn't cause psychological stress. What am I supposed to do? I just note that they're doing it. You get it? It screws up my day. There's no doubt about that one. But it doesn't cause stress. The whole thing's stupid. It's an invented excuse for doing torture. That's what that is. But the point is, I bring it up, so then maybe they take credit for it. If I don't bring it up, they'll pass it off as stress disorder. Then if I bring it up much later, they'll say, oh, well, he's delusional and mistaken about it. They always make it fit the fake profile. My point is, if you bring things up, they will lie one way or tell the truth. And if you don't bring things up, they get away with a lie. In regards to many things I bring up, they're forced into lying about it anyhow. Because if they were to admit to their guilt, you understand there's something all wrong. So there are different circumstances in which they lie. But a key thing is they will wait in regards to what I bring up to see what it is they can and cannot get away with. If I bring up stuff they've gotten away with later, they say he's delusional, he's making it up. There's no truth to that at all. The FBI out in Phoenix, they didn't even have a clue as to what I was noting and measuring in regards to them, their technology effects, and their mistakes. This is one they've been affecting me for not doing, is a video from Phoenix. I'll just go through the videos, record all the places where I'm affected, and I will explain what it is they did, why they did it, for what lie they are selling. I'll just go through all the videos and point it out. They've been sitting on me so I don't do that, and I've got a cassette here which proves a few points in the house. And they've been sitting on me so that I can't get that done. It's fucking impossible. You know, this is what I'm talking about. I deal with surreal shit like this. They don't share all the heavy, dirty tricks and what it is they really do with this technology. So that's it for the video. The key thing is they lie in terms of time. They will alter an answer based on time. June 7th, 3:22 p.m. I spend all my time doing these videos here. Here's a perfect example of how they lie in time. So I'm out in Phoenix. The FBI woke up. They realize they've got a false psychological template, psychological gestalt for psychoanalyzing everything. And they start focusing on the whole enlightenment thing. And over the course of each month, I'm pointing out things about me to them. I mean, the whole entire point is I gave them a fair chance here. No games, no tricks, no nothing. I'm pointing out my profile in real time, in real life to them. I'm explaining stuff to them. But when I try and do videos about this, the FBI would have my memory wiped and blocked. And I couldn't bring up what I gave to the FBI with German agents and videos. Now, German agents, in fact, went along with that. They went along with them, with themselves being sabotaged, actually. They're sloppy as fuck. They make bare basic assumptions about things which are balls to the walls false. They're sloppy as shit. So then later, I get to bring things up in video. And the point is, it's much later. You know, I'm finally getting to bring up stuff here, which I couldn't bring up in Phoenix. Yet the reality is, if they weren't affecting me so heavily, I could have brought this up in Phoenix. My point is, I began saying in videos out in Phoenix to German agents, they are not passing on the real profile information, or else you would be awake. This would not still be going on, and this here and that there. You would not be using the same broken computer programs. They're broken because you sabotage yourselves with those computer programs. You get something false and you believe the false reading. Really what it gets down to is you just affect me for how you think I am. And the reality is you've just been smoking technology effects. You've made excuses for how this technology works, and how it actually works is not the way you believe it works. You got there because you wanted to believe your own fake bullshit in the first place. Thus, you go remote controlling a TV, and then and you change the channel, and then when the channel changes, you go, wow, the TV, you're shocked and awed. You're like, that proves the TV wanted that other channel that it switched to. Hello? No, you were doing remote control and then you were smoking it. Strangely enough, the law of cause and effect is real. It's part of physics. Maybe you should look it up. What I deal with is delusional fuck-ups beyond belief here. You have reinvented science for your fucking viewpoints. So then I point out, well, I gave this to the FBI. I'm finally bringing shit up here in video, and I'm like, well, it must be I'm looking at, well, how are they getting away with lying about this? Always gets down to the same thing. They're going to say, well, look, we spiked his energy print with ideas and stuff, and he's going to speak about his profile here like it's his, but we spiked his energy field with all of these different points, and watch, he's going to bring it up, and then he thinks that's going to be his profile. The one that I get and the FBI gets is, I'd already given that to them ages and ages ago. That is how I reached the conclusion that this is what is going on. Because I've spoken the truth about my profile for years on end now. And you have gone on believing the lies. So that tells me when I'm speaking the truth about my profile, somehow you're reading it as delusional. So I finally figured this out. The next point is, every time I've tried to speak about all this shit, they have blocked me with technology. So then I'm like, well, why do they want it now? So they've got some way of lying about it. And quite clearly, that is what is going on. No, actually, they figured out my profile based on shit I gave them months upon months ago, even a year or two ago at this point. That is why I was saying they're not passing on the profile information. So then they pass off my real profile in front of your face as delusional. Nobody is that goddamn delusional about themselves. So you're major fuck-ups. And you got there by pretending to be agents and psychoanalyzing everything. The problem is when you're given the truth and you psychoanalyze it into something else, then you've fucked up royally. And that's where you are at personally, Beata, and you, Jurgen. But my point is, this is a trick they do in terms of time. So finally I get to point out the truth of my profile to Jurgen and Beata, and somehow they are believing lies. So shit is reversed. They're passing technology off as me, and when I'm affected, then that is me, which is absolutely delusional beyond belief. It's insanely, this is where we're just feeling what to believe and rewriting the laws of reality and reinventing physics for our viewpoints now. Fuck you. Obvious as shit for anybody once I get interviews here. Fuck all of you. If you get that one, you get what a fucking lie it is that you're claiming to be agents here. You haven't even thought about this on your own independently. And you don't get that I see you accurately because I'm basing it on your mistakes in the first place. You play these little mind games with yourself and you go, well, I'm correct. Oh my God. Start from the ground up with your goddamn mistakes and clean them up that way. You fucking got that, you goddamn amateurs? You fucking got it? One more that'll be blatantly obvious for anybody that knows how to do this shit. Fuck you all over again. The entire fucking point is explaining myself, if I get to be me, myself, is not difficult. Strangely enough, it's what I've done my whole life with the very few real friends I've had. Hello? No, it's not difficult, but I've not been able to based on how much I've been affected. And you went along with it. Then when I point out the truth to you, you dump it on me. Once again, go fuck yourselves. And to top it all off, you've tricked yourselves yet again with your very own technology. Holy fuck. So you explain to me how you're not going to be looking balls to the walls incompetent for the rest of the goddamn world here. There'll be other people out there, other teams, agents looking at this shit, and they're gonna know when they hear me speaking about this. Yeah, I'm nailing this. This is totally on the goddamn money. Yet you can't figure it out, and I'm pointing out the truth to you. Furthermore, I'm pointing out your mistakes, how you made them, and how you continue to make them. And you're in denial because you're an agent way up here, and I'm just a lowly pissant and stalking. The reality is I got a higher IQ than either one of you. You have fucked up. I'm paying for your goddamn mistakes. I'm pointing them out to you, and you're so fucking arrogant, you can't figure it out. Got that one? While I get death threats over your fucking mistakes, never mind loved ones in my life. So that's one more way they lie in terms of fucking time. This is how Beata lies to herself. give you a perfect example of Beata pretending to be an agent. They're starting to fuck with me, but this goes on every single time I, quote, deal with her in my head here. Agents get exactly where I'm coming from. Not Beata, not Germans, but everybody else here does. So Beata will hit me up with something, and I just take it at face value. They'll have her bring something up with a certain tone, what have you, and, you know, she's implying something. So it's understood what she's communicating. So then I will give a response to that. Then she'll point out, well, that's not actually where I'm at. I'm over here. I've, you know, cleaned up my shit here, and I see that I had some things wrong, and I'm over here. Point is, I'm not wasting my time with... My point, here they go. They're already hijacking me heavily. Fuck y'all. Hang on. This is what I'm talking about. They do this to make it look like I cannot explain things for you, Jurgen and Beata. This has been going on for years on end, and it's always been agents with technology. So let's see if we can get this done. You go, well, look, you weren't thinking about it, and you weren't correct. Well, the point is, that's because I don't waste my time thinking about you and your cheap viewpoints here. It's like me wasting my time figuring out what lies my parents have been sold here, beyond the ones I already know about and the ones which count. They affect me with my father so that he thinks I'm responding to him, doing stalking. I just keep my mouth shut. These are tricks in the moment. He thinks he's right, and I just make a mental note of how he's tricked. It's the same thing with you. But that's when I'm forced into interacting with you. I don't actually care about his little Disneyland here. All this shit here in the moment is a distraction. It doesn't change the reality of what the circumstances here with the FBI and how much trouble they're in and how they've lied to everybody. So he remains convinced of what the FBI is selling, but it doesn't change reality. It's the same thing with you, but you're focused on your correctness. Look, you didn't even think about it. And the reality is, I don't even care, but you go, well, I'm correct and you're sloppy, and then you go, that's how you are with these other things. That's where you fuck up. You just made an assumption that is how it is in regards to other shit. No, the other shit is where I put my real time and focus and energy in the first place, because that is the important shit. You got distracted with kid shit over here, which I actually could care less about. It's of no significance, but you go attaching this meaning to it. I'm correct, you were not correct, you didn't think about it, and then you take that and apply it quite literally to the important shit, where I'm paying attention all of the time, much to Horvat's problem and Patsy's problem here. That's where I'm at. See, I'm not stupid. Furthermore, how you have just analyzed reality has made you blind as a bat to what is actually going on and how I figure shit out here. You just literally bought into your own bullshit. And you got there by being correct about something that is meaningless on my end. Then you go saying that's how I am in regards to the important shit. And the reality is, this is where I have my focus. So you went labeling me a fuck up based on the fact that you were. End of game and story on that. It's about time I got to explain that. Been here forever with you. Your end of shit is stalking junk. I've got my focus right exactly where it should be. Furthermore, you haven't even figured out my psychology in regards to that and why. You just went labeling me delusional and threat to agency everywhere. You mislabeled motives and on and on. It is just nothing but endless mistakes. You assumed things about me and you didn't even double check your shit. So we're going to end on this note because I got shit to do here. Quite literally, what you have done from Jurgen and Beata and German agents and agencies, period. You have psychoanalyzed an excuse for yourselves for not finding out you've made just heavy mistakes. You've made them constantly and consistently. Furthermore, I've pointed them out. You have acted like the whole thing is just stalking and a game of chicken. Instead of finding out those mistakes are real and true, you went making a game and psychoanalyzing an excuse for yourselves for not finding out. And the one that I get and American agents get here is that when I do interviews, any other team agents sitting out there, when they hear me explaining this shit, they're going to get those mistakes for what they are. You are performing with extreme prejudice and bias, whether you get it or not. You've assumed all over the place I am a goddamn idiot, and there's another key one here. But all over the place, you have assumed shit about me, which there's no reality to it at all. It's just something you believe in your own heads. But then you go responding to what you think you see in regards to those thoughts and beliefs. You go responding to it with me. You got no idea as to how angry I am. But my final point and the conclusion here is for the video is that you're going to stand out in neon for everybody else, whether you get it or not. And my point is you're so fucking arrogant and egotistical about all of this, and you don't even get it. You are about as out to lunch and off in another dimension as anybody can be here. And furthermore, my profile here, the actual profile, is what you have reinvented for yourselves. And I've pointed it out to you. You haven't cleaned up any of your profiling here. You're focused on junk. Actually, you finally understanding my psychology here ends the entire mess. You are focused on stalking and performing as a jackass off the street. Quite frankly, most of your mistakes have been by pretending to be an agent. I give you the truth of my profile and you invent reasons for yourselves for why it's not true. Yeah, I can't be inventing my profile. You can rewind all through the past and see my actual profile. Imagine that one. So, you've labeled me with motives, which I've never had. It's just common sense. You've fucked up in regards to profiling me. What's anybody in those circumstances going to do, you fucking asshole? That's it for the video. June 6th, 9:35 p.m. They make me have to throw up. They're giving me such heavy stomach convulsions. My stomach's tightening so heavily it hurts. This is what they did out in Phoenix also. This is one of the things they would do. One thing of many for torturing me. And then they weren't telling the truth to people from the alternative media about how much I was being tortured and affecting me for keeping my mouth shut about all sorts of shit. Finally, I did bring shit up. I was able to. But that's one of the reasons why they do all of the torture and rub it in my face while they're tricking people, is so that it's easier for them to hijack me with technology anger and get away with it. Point is, I have control over my anger. I make it work for me. And what they're selling is I just react emotionally to anger. It's a load of shit. But this is what they were doing here. I don't know if you can see it. I've got tears in this eye. My eyes started watering from the stomach convulsions.